Well, hello. So I am feeling incredibly inspired today to share insights with you because I'm just having so many today. And I guess to start off with, I just recorded a video, but I think I'm going to post this one before. And I guess a lot of the videos, or maybe a few in the beginning, will be about my experience at the University of British Columbia and what I've learned about what I actually learned from the experience about what is inside of me and how I can shift that, and what a lot of the external world can teach us about the inside world rather than the other way around, and how we can control the outside world from the inside, and how pretty much every experience that we have can teach us something and is a mirror that shows us something about either a belief system, an old experience that we haven't looked at, archetypes, as all these different things that slumber in our consciousness. And recently I've been feeling more inspired to actually share. I've gone through a very long period of just diving into the abyss of my environment, and now I feel excited to actually be sharing things. If you would have asked me a week ago, no way. So I guess my master's experience is at the Resource Management and Environmental Studies program at UBC, and it's an interdisciplinary program, and it's at the Center for Interactive Research on Sustainability, which was supposed to be North America's most sustainable building. And my task was to create a survey with the inhabitants before they moved in as a baseline study, so that later then we could compare and evaluate our success. The building had visions or goals or intentions, I guess you could call it. It's supposed to be a hub for sustainability where people meet. Interdisciplinary work is supposed to happen, between different groups of the sustainability community. It's supposed to accelerate sustainability and the greenness of the campus and the well-being of the students, and just connect people. And yeah, so I don't really know where to start. Awkward moment. My professor hated it when I said, he actually criticized that. Interesting. Okay, so, the visions of the building. The visions were, it was supposed to be a living laboratory of sustainability. So everything that was happening in the building was intended to be like a learning ground. So like the carpets, the computers, the building systems, everything. And the people as well. So when they moved in, they were aware that they were supposed to be like lab rats or, subjects of experimentation, which is funny in itself, but I can explore that at a different point. And what were the other ones? To enable or support people to become, rather than occupying a space, to become inhabitants of space, of a place. They could not just to actively engage with each other, to build a community, to collaborate, and things like that. So it was like an intentional community. That was the goal, I think, to be created. And the building itself is very beautiful. It's a wood frame structure. So you can feel that it's like, it has a nice feel to it, and it has a lot of light, which is really nice. And anyway, so those were some of the intentions of the building, and of course to enhance inhabitant well-being overall, also productivity, and health. Uh, naturally, that was an interesting intention, because that usually buildings don't have intentions like that, office buildings. So nobody really paid much attention to what does that mean for for humans, for workers, for people that actually work in this space. It was mostly still focused on the environment and how we can save the environment and reduce our imprint and restore and regenerate the environment around us, so the natural systems. So the building had a lot of features around that area. And my part was then to look at like how, actually that wasn't really my part, but the person that I am, I had to question everything. So when I was given the simple task of creating a survey in terms of how well they feel in their current building and how healthy they feel and how productive they feel and what their expectations were from the new building, I was just smacked in the face by the multitude of ideas that came to me and questions that I had, and it was really difficult for me to put them all in the same, to put them into one survey. And then especially because the building was so new, I also felt like the survey instrument that I used should be new, because we couldn't use the same processes that we had used previously if we were trying to create something different. And I guess it was just, I felt there was a lot of like, I had to, like, it was tiring, like, no, we can't do this like this, blah, 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 blah. There was a lot of nagging with my professor. Very smart guy. And then I created this instrument, and I just was way more interested in asking the questions and exploring that in myself and in the world rather than actually writing something, because what was expected from me was to write something really uninspiring. And I realized at some point that the things that we were looking for, they are things, well actually no, I'm realizing that now more so at a deeper level, that they are things that we've externalized in ourselves. So like, the building cannot enhance our well-being. Our well-being is inside. It means being a well of life and of energy, and having this energy flow through us. And then, I mean, I actually found the intentions of the building very powerful, and they really helped me actually ask questions about what that means. And that actually created a framework for me to dive deeper. And I don't know how they came up with these visions for the building. I wanted to explore them though at a very deep level, and I guess that was very helpful for my growth. Anyways, I guess where I want to go with this video is that whatever we choose in our external world, in our environment, a lot of times is like a reflection of the inner thing. So like, I find it really interesting, like asking the question, what is authentic architecture? And that brings me back to my internal energy patterns. What is the architecture inside of me? You know, what am I constructed of from, like, how does my building, my body, support my well-being? How well do I feel in this being? And how healthy do I feel, and how productive? The word productive just bears a lot of like, come on, more. I like the word creative performance more, where it has like the creative aspect to it. So I guess the thing is that if you're a farmer, you can apply this to your fields, you know, like you can learn so much about the plants, about the creation of reality in your environment, and it's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere around us. Like, you're an interior designer, like how do you design your interior? Or you're, God, you're a computer programmer. You program computers. Maybe you're actually really good at programming yourself, you know, like belief systems, all these kinds of things. I find it interesting, like if we flip it around, like if we flip the external world, and I guess the external world sounds like it's separate and it's not, but I guess it's more so like what we look at when we look around us. What happens when we flip that around? Like, what have you done in your life, and like what have you felt drawn to, and what does that tell you about your inside, and what you're missing inside, or what you want inside, or what you actually want to learn? Because maybe what you want to learn on the outside is what you actually want to learn on the inside. And I guess that's what I have learned in this experience, is that I feel really like my experience was like being a student of life in a way. It was like learning how to be, yeah, more like an inner architect, like an inner interior designer, an inner, yeah, like turning myself into a living laboratory, becoming an inhabitant of my body, not just an occupant, you know, not just being a passive recipient of life, but actually being active in it and creating it. And so I guess a lot of the intentions of the building were intentions that need to be internalized. I guess that's what I want to say. So like they need to be internalized and integrated. They're parts that we have lost. Because I guess a major part of that is, especially the occupant to inhabitant for me, is victim archetype and victim programming, that we are victims of our reality, and there's so much of that. Because that's what we learn. If we were to teach our kids that you can create your reality, I mean, that would be a whole different story. Then we would maybe call it environmental resource management. No, environmental resource management and blah 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 blah, whatever. Resource management and environmental studies, that's the word I was looking for. And yeah, so I mean, how does that apply to your life? I mean, I don't know, what places do you feel drawn to? And why? Have you asked yourself why you feel drawn to that? What is it that you want from that place? Or that experience, or that degree, or that, like, what is it that you're really seeking? Is it mastery? Over what? If it's mastery over law, is it mastery of law, or is it mastery of the real laws? What is it? I mean, it's fascinating. And yeah, life. I wish you well.